Hey all, how are y'all? It's me, Eloha. Hey guys, and welcome back or welcome to Elements of Eloha, where I talk about things that interest me, affect me, or am very passionate about. And in today's video, I am going to be giving my final thoughts on All-American Homecoming from season 3 and just the show in general. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to start off by doing is giving Dimone a brief history lesson, because as a Dimone turned Limone, a lot of Dimones love to claim that people that ship Simone and Lando, they don't know what they're talking about. If they watched the show from the beginning, it was always supposed to be Damon and Simone. Damon was the first choice. And me, that's been knowing about All-American Homecoming since it was just a concept of a plan at the CW. No, you guys actually don't know what you're talking about. So here's a brief lesson on how All-American Homecoming came to be. So back in the 2020-2021 season, two shows that were airing their third All-American was airing their third season, and Black Lightning was airing its fourth and final season. When Black Lightning got canceled after their season 4 renewal in November of 2020, it was announced that halfway through season 4 episode 7 of Black Lightning was supposed to be a backdoor pilot for Khalil's character, Painkiller. So, if the backdoor pilot did well, the show would eventually be picked up to series. So a few months later, a few weeks after All-American Season 3 premieres on January 18th, 2021, around February, March of 2021, it was announced that Jeffrey Maya's character, Simone Hicks, who at the time was Jordan's wife on All-American, was going to be getting a backdoor pilot, a spin-off of her character Simone Hicks going to an HBCU in Atlanta called Princeton University. So this was hinted at in season 3B. We learned that Simone played tennis in episode 6, the cabin episode, and we saw in season 3B Simone playing tennis, and it was mentioned in the Friendsgiving episode, season 3 episode 16, how the core four, Spencer, Olivia, Jordan, and Simone, were going to go to Princeton University, which leads us to the backdoor pilot, season 3, episode 17. That was the All-American Homecoming pilot. So, I'm going to flash back to May of 2021, because that's usually when the CW upfronts happen. So that same week, Black Lightning aired their series finale on May 24th, 2021, and a few hours before the finale aired at 9 p.m., it was announced that the Painkiller backdoor pilot that aired a month prior would not be picked up to series, but All-American Homecoming would be picked up to series. And the All-American Homecoming backdoor pilot, aka All-American Season 3 episode 17, aired on July 5th, 2021. So it was already picked up to series, and then the series premiered on February 21st, 2022. So when the backdoor pilot aired, yes, Jordan was Simone's husband, and Damon was very well aware that Simone and Jordan were married.
Like that. Well, you seem at peace, so good for you. I should get going. My husband's waiting outside for me.
Husband? Oh, okay.
But he didn't care. He did not care one bit. It wasn't until the following episode, season 3, episode 18, that they end up getting annulled. Jordan and Simone's marriage gets annulled, and they go back to being boyfriend and girlfriend. It isn't until the first episode, the series premiere, in February of 2022 that Damon finds out that Jordan and Simone are just back to being boyfriend and girlfriend. I think when it comes to Damon and Simone's relationship, I think their connection was just, honestly, it was rushed. They wanted to make it like a Spencer and Olivia thing. But the thing is, when it comes to Spencer and Olivia, their relationship was natural. It happened naturally. Not only does the show tell us that Spencer and Olivia are soulmates, it actually shows us that Spencer and Olivia were soulmates, whether that's out loud or whether that's subtly. But with All American Homecoming, it really didn't show us that Damon and Simone were really soulmates. They were more of like telling us than showing us, because originally, this is when I stopped trusting Kechi. This is really when I stopped trusting Kechi. So, when Jordan and Simone were still together, the first half of season 1, and of course, now that they were in college, they were discovering new things about themselves. In particular, Simone got anxiety. And Damon did help her through that at the very least, because, you know, they're supposed to be friends. I remember reading an interview. That's when both Dimone and Olivia were going through a lot. And Kechi was like, oh yeah, we're not going to put Jordan and Simone through all that turmoil and Spencer and Olivia through all that turmoil just to break them up. And you know what happened? She broke Jordan and Simone up, and she broke up Spencer and Olivia in the season 5 premiere. I was so pissed. I was super duper pissed, because why? At least Simone and Damon had some sort of chemistry when the emotional cheating thing with Dimone was going on. But Jordan and Layla, on the other hand, no. No, they didn't. That's why I can never really be like, oh, you're Spencer and Olivia shipper, but you ship Damon and Simone. Or, oh, you're Spencer and Olivia shipper, but you ship Jordan and Layla. Because had All American Homecoming not been picked up to series, we would have still had Dimone. So a lot of y'all need to thank Jordan and Simone's relationship for your ship even being a thing in the first place, because we were the sacrificial lamb. Now, when it came to Damon's career, originally Damon was supposed to go to the major leagues immediately after he graduated high school. His mom was saying, Damon, like, why do you want to go to Bringston? You should have went pro. And honestly, really, Damon should have went pro, because when he was visiting Bringston in the backdoor pilot, Bringston baseball was on the chopping board. Due to that baseball scandal, yeah, Bringston was on the chopping board. Luckily, like, Coach Marcus worked out a deal, but Bringston baseball was always gonna go after a few years. And the thing about Bringston is they always have money issues. Literally, before the first semester even finished, they were on the verge of being sold. And you know what Damon ended up doing? Transferring to Hawkins. Then he also went there to find out more information about his birth parents, since his birth parents went to Bringston. And we ended up going through this whole circle of events where we thought Damon and Simone were cousins, so Kechi wanted this to be like a parallel to Spencer and Olivia, thinking they were siblings. So yeah, it turns out that they weren't cousins. And then they just had this whole underwhelming thing once season 1 concluded, confirming that 2 years later, I'm still mixing up these men's names. Sorry, y'all. Xavier Sims is his adoptive dad. Jesse Raymond is his biological dad. And Celine Raymond are Damon's parents, and JR is his older brother. And honestly, yeah, it fell flat. It really did. Because in the midst of all that turmoil, when Simone was talking to her friends Keisha and Nate about giving up baby Shay for adoption, Damon was literally taking that anger that he had from his birth parents giving him up for adoption and projecting that onto Simone. In the beginning, he was like, what kind of mother would just give up their child? That's so selfish. Taking all that out on Simone when they've only known each other for a few months at that point. Like, it was a month or 2 months into the school year, and it's like, bro, you're not her man. Like, you are not entitled to know that about her. Like, he eventually did come to his senses later on in that episode, but that's one thing that rubbed me the wrong way. And then when he got with Thea in the last bit of season 1, he was texting Simone saying, "Oh, our story's not over." Like, after he found out that Simone and Jordan broke up and he was with Thea, he was texting Simone, "Oh, our story isn't over." Like, even though I didn't really like Thea that much because she was antagonizing Simone, I didn't really like Thea that much until like halfway through season 2 when she apologized. I still don't think you should be doing that. Because in the same breath, you want to say to Simone, text Simone while you're with Thea, "Oh, our story isn't over." But when Thea was antagonizing Simone in season 2A, and when she turned the tennis team against Simone in season 2A too, and Simone was like, "Okay, I get it, Thea's your girlfriend, but I'm also your friend." Damon was like, "Oh, that's y'all's business. You need to go handle it." But then when Simone started getting close with Lando in season 2, all of a sudden Damon doesn't want Simone to be hanging out with Lando. It's one thing or the other. Make it make sense. And you're still not her man. Simone dropped everything so she could go support Damon when he went back up to Chicago to get more information about his family. But no, Damon would never do that for her. The show has made it clear time and time again that Damon's first love is baseball. So whoever he screws over, he doesn't care about their feelings. He doesn't care about how they are affected. So when you have someone like Damon who could have clearly went pro after he graduated from high school, but he chose to be at Princeton, he was taking a spot away from someone that could have went to Princeton, like on a scholarship, could have had a spot on the baseball team. So that's why when we meet Lando in season 1, he has a bit of animosity because, like, even though like it's not your fault directly, you know your name, you know you have power, you know you have influence. So me, even somebody whose grandparents went to Princeton, I'm sure I could go to Princeton. I couldn't because of you. When Princeton went broke, he bounced. When baseball, a few years later, was on the chopping block in season 3, and Damon was trying to make sure baseball didn't go at Princeton, and Simone was advocating for tennis to still be at Princeton when we found out that baseball was going to be cut, which we always knew was going to be cut from the backdoor pilot. Who did Damon lash out at first? Simone. And then he wanted to say it wasn't Simone's fault, but again, your first love is baseball. You don't care about who you hurt or how you get it. Then the placement of Damon and Simone's like first kiss, which turned into their first time, was very like off-putting as well, because it literally was after Damon found out that his adoptive dad Xavier passed away. So I can't really be like, oh my gosh, that's so romantic. And then, literally, just in case the show got canceled after season 2, they made sure to put a flashback which told us that they ended up smashing. And it's like, and this is supposed to be y'all slow burn? Like, really? Really? Want better for your ship. Please. I want better for your ship. When Damon was confessing his feelings for Simone, Simone was just like, okay. So when she ended up choosing Damon in the season 3 premiere, which I already knew, I already stated that in my homecoming video, it made sense because, hey, if my relationship with Jordan ended because we were getting too close, at least I owe it to you to see where this thing goes. And obviously, like, it didn't work out. Like, when Damon got recruited to play baseball for the Dominican Republic, Simone could have easily made it work. Like, she did that with Jordan as long as she could. Damon is saying, I wanted to do long distance, and Simone is like, yeah, no. You need to go on, go be great, go do your thing. She didn't shed not one tear. She didn't tell that man she loved him too. She just let him go. And they didn't even communicate after they broke up after a year. He didn't wish her happy birthday. Simone didn't feel the need to tell him about her cancer diagnosis. So why are you rooting so hard for this? Like, they want to be pointing the finger at Lando and Limone, saying, you guys were the mid-game ship, you guys were the rebound ship. They were also talking about how Lando was the unsuccessful one. Lando's going to graduate college. He's in pre-med. He has a successful photography business, and he also has baseball. That's why Damon and JR were scrambling to get baseball back. At least Damon went pro. JR, on the other hand, shame on him. And yet Simone and Damon happened a few months, like the following semester after Simone and Jordan broke up. So who's really the rebound? Who's really the rebound, honey? So, anyways, like, Damon still ended up being successful at the very end of the day. He got recruited to go play for the Detroit Tigers. He ended up saving baseball at Brinkston. So the main people that we're talking about, like All American, Homecoming season 3, that's when the show started getting bad, really just lets you know that they weren't watching the show for Simone. They were watching the show for Damon, because the first 2 seasons focus on Damon. Damon got all the character development. Damon got the father-son relationship with his coach. Damon went pro. Like, they centered the show around Damon, and it seemed like they just needed Simone to, like, anchor off them getting the pickup from the CW. So it took Peyton leaving the show for you guys to finally take off your rose-colored glasses and realize the show as a whole is not good and has been doing Simone dirty. The only reason why I kept watching the show in hopes that it get better, because originally, honestly, after seeing that season 1 finale, I was going to stop watching after season 1. Then got renewed for season 2. Season 2, I would say, was still bad, but it was like, I would say it's the best out of the 3 seasons for 2 reasons. 1, Limone, and 2, Jabrielle, which I'm gonna talk about both of them. And then they ended season 2 with 3 cliffhangers. So I was like, okay, Hopefully, it gets renewed for season 3. And then the writer's strike happened, and they had multiple months to come up with some decent stuff, and they just gave us rubbish on a silver platter. Anyways, that's the end of my analysis for Damon and Dimone. Now, I'm gonna get into why I prefer Limone and why the Jamone to Limone pipeline is the correct pipeline. Okay, so again, when we first met Lando was obviously supposed to be the antagonist to Damon because Damon stole his spot at Bringston University. His family members, they all went to Bringston. They all made their mark at Bringston, but due to Damon, Lando could not do that. So it took Lando having to use some footage of Damon at Hawkins to get his rightful spot at Bringston University. So one thing that always does tickle me about Lando is even though he does not like Damon, I do like that he respects Damon and Simone's friendship. To be honest, I didn't even think Lando was gonna come back in season 2 because I thought he was just gonna be a one episode guest star and go. So when Essence Fest premiered back in the summer of 2022, and Jeffrey Maya and Martin Bob Semple, who plays Lando, when they were posing together at the Essence Fest, I was like, who's this man? And then they said he was Lando, and I was like, who's Lando? And then season 2 premiered, and I was like, oh, the guy that was antagonizing Damon. Oh, that's Lando. I was like, okay. So originally, when we met Lando, again, he was just supposed to be an antagonist. So when him and Simone had that debate in their history class, I was like, this is interesting. I never thought the two of them weren't gonna interact, but they have some very nice chemistry. I like how they bounce ideas off of each other. But of course, Simone had some animosity towards Lando, obviously because of her friendship with Damon. Like, you don't like Damon, so we can't hang out. We can't be friends. But obviously, can't stay away from that sweetheart for too long. So then when the bomb threat episode came, Lando helped calm Simone down while she was having a panic attack. And then also, I really liked that when Simone told Lando that she had a son, Shay, he didn't flinch at all. He was like, oh, okay, you have a son. And once they got like a little bit of cell service, he was like to Simone, yeah, go call your son. He wasn't like, oh my gosh, how come you didn't tell me you had a son? Like, they've only known each other for like a few weeks. He was like, okay, your mom, you gotta do what you gotta do. I really admire you for that. And the Black Joy Day episode was so sweet because obviously, like, Simone was not trying to take a break. She was just trying to do work, go play tennis. And Lando's like, dude, this is a mental health day. You need to chill out. Like, you need to relax. And so even though they were enjoying themselves in the beginning, they were dancing in the pool. They had like a little freshman orientation tour. And Simone eventually was like, you know what? I think I've had enough. Like, this was a mistake. We were not supposed to hang out. And eventually, Simone, she does that, but she comes to her senses and Lando's like, oh, you're relaxed. If you're relaxed, then my job here is done. And I really like that. Like, she's like, even though you're giving me flack about it, you see how that helped you at the end of the day? Like, and that's one thing I do like about Lando is that she pushes Simone to do the things she doesn't want to do. But eventually, she'll see in the long run that it was helpful and she'll thank him for it. And Simone does the same thing with Lando. Like, when she found out that Lando had a passion for photography, which this was written in because Martin is also a photographer, And Lando was like, yeah, my family's pressuring me to submit my photos and I don't want to. Simone was like, Lando, you're a good photographer. And she ends up submitting his photos in without him knowing. And Lando gets mad about that, but then eventually, he comes to his senses. That's their thing, if you catch my drift. And again, they just motivate each other, they just get each other. Then, when it came to advice, especially when it came to the episode where Simone was online, the reason why they couldn't spend as much time together was because she was online at PKZ and his sister was PKZ too, so he knows the drill. But since Lando is super special to Simone and he does give Simone great advice, and Simone's already broken a few PKZ rules, she's like, you know what? Screw the rules right now. I need to see you, boy. And he gives her the advice she needs to hear, like, take a chance on your line sisters. They are not your tennis team. Even though they did do you dirty in the beginning, they didn't rat you out when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, when you could have put the flyers up for Nico, but you didn't. Like, come on now. And so, in addition to that, he gave her gifts when Simone was talking about the protests that they were doing after the bus stop. He paid attention to her voice patterns. Like, dude, that's a soulmate right there, man. When he finally confessed to Simone that he doesn't just want to be friends with benefits, he wants more. Of course, he understood that Damon also confessed his feelings to Simone a few episodes prior. But again, you see the stark difference between when Damon confessed his feelings and when Lando confessed his feelings. But obviously, you guys know how teen dramas work. Second love always has to work its way up to being the end game ship. And I was perfectly fine. Story wise, it made sense why Simone would choose Damon, as I stated a few minutes ago. So Simone and Lando did not talk for a year, but it wasn't like she cut off Lando completely. She was supporting Lando through his photography website where he was selling his art. She bought a lot of his pieces and they were very expensive. And it's not like Lando was just like sitting there sulking after Simone and Damon have just been together for a year. He does eventually get into a relationship with one of Simone's line sisters, Eva. So obviously, seeing All American Homecoming season 3, it was supposed to be like All American season 5, where Eva was obviously the Alicia. But there was no reason for us to really care about Eva because we did not see her as much. So, one thing I did like is that Simone did clarify that the main reason why her and Lando were spending like a lot more time together wasn't because they were cheating, they're friends obviously, was because of Simone's cancer diagnosis, and he was like taking her to her appointments, helping her with treatment, helping her with support. When it came to just like being a friend, when it came to supporting her through her cancer treatments, and then after Simone finished her radiation, when she fell out of love with tennis, Lando was there to pick her back up. When she was Simone was talking to JR and Cam, like, I lost my passion for tennis. JR and Cam's solution was just, oh, you should walk away from tennis for 2 days. And Lando was like, walk away from tennis? That's stupid. Like, that is stupid. There's really no such thing as being like, oh, this is a rebound ship. If that was the case, they wouldn't have waited like almost a year and a half to get together. And they didn't start dating immediately after Eva broke up with Lando too. And I also liked too that Lando made it clear that Eva does not dictate who he can talk to. Because what? We've been friends since before you started dating. But those last 2 episodes are really pissing me off because, the penultimate episode, they were trying to have that talk. And I already knew how it was going to go. They were going to try and tell each other how they feel, but other characters are going to interrupt them until the very last second. And the very last second literally was like the final 20 minutes of the finale. But the finale, how it was giving after Simone, like, told Lando, I love you. She knows for sure that she loves Lando. Lando was talking about, I don't know if that's true. What? 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 Y'all just wrote that in for Simone to be embarrassed. Really? She said she loves you. Like, she's very sure that she loves you, but all of a sudden you don't believe it. And it took a cheater and her victim in order for you to finally come to your senses and stop being scared. You know you love her. Why are you being scared for her? She says she loves you. She means it. But you know, they finally did get their act together, and that love confession was super duper cute. He said, people in your lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Jordan was the reason. Damon was the season. And Lando was the lifetime.
Hello? Final words, okay? Forget that the CSSN article is out. No matter what anybody says or thinks out there, you are a badass survivor, okay?
But it's okay. It's okay. Even though starting off as a Dimone, we were a sacrificial lamb. Damon ended up single. He's still successful, so good for him on that front. Jordan, a 4-time concussed bum. So, have fun. Have fun with that. Have fun with that, because it's only Jordan, Layla, and Coop that are staying in All American Season 7. I'm officially free. I'm officially free after Superman and Lois ends in December, so good luck with that, y'all. But Limone Endgame, aww. The next thing I want to talk about is Simone's wishy-washy village and her tennis team. Starting off with the tennis team and Coach Lonnie, honestly, I don't even know why we're supposed to care about them when we barely see them on screen. And literally the only time we see them on screen is for them either to, one, complain, and then two, to antagonize Simone. Simone never developed a relationship with Coach Lonnie. The only time she would talk to Coach Lonnie is when Coach Lonnie would take her off the top 6, when Coach Lonnie would not let her play, when Coach Lonnie just wanted to yell at her. Like, she's either yelling or taking something away from Simone. So obviously, when Simone got cancer in season 3, which they shouldn't have even given her in the first place, obviously she doesn't want to tell you about her cancer diagnosis because you have not made it as safe for me to come talk to you about anything. Simone gets to be captain for one episode since Simone ended up lying because obviously Coach Lonnie has not made it a space for her and Simone to become close like that. She ends up again taking something from Simone, which was her team captain position. And then, girl, let's just get on her tennis team. I can't stand not one of them. The only one I like is Thea. The only one I cared for was Thea, because at least like Thea had her back, like season 2B and season 3. Until Thea snitched to save her own yash, but I digress. All the tennis team did was villainize Simone in season 2, and yet Simone was supposed to be the strong one in the face of police brutality. And yet Simone was supposed to be the one raising money for the exhibition match. And yet Simone was supposed to be the face of them protesting in episode 14. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Simone is the team captain in season 3. So when she rightfully enforces the rules of when and when not you can practice, all of a sudden it's Simone is so mean. But yet you guys get to treat Simone like crap and she's supposed to take it. All of you guys are the same age, yet you're allowed to act immature and Simone isn't. Then when it came to hyping up the team, they were talking all this mouth, whining like 2-year-olds, talking about, oh, I don't think Brixton is going to come support us. So obviously we're going to play like trash. And so when Simone is like, okay, how about Brixton has a pep rally? And one of the girls that she's playing against, Cortina, comes and just talks a bunch of crap. All of a sudden they're like, you see, this is why I don't want to have a pep rally. Now the school sees us getting embarrassed. You were complaining about the school not supporting you. And when the school supports you, all of a sudden it's your confidence is rattled. Simone is literally damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. All y'all do is whine and complain. And then one of her teammates made it seem like Simone having a supportive friend group is a bad thing. Sorry you don't have friends, but don't take that out on Simone. When she tried to support you guys crucified her for it. So when it came to something as serious as her cancer diagnosis, why would she want to tell any of y'all what she's going through? Why? And it's not like these are they have not developed any one of Simone's relationship with the girls besides Tia and Tootie. So they're a whole bunch of nobodies. So why are we supposed to care about their feelings? We don't know them, and I don't care to know them. Because almost every female character that's introduced in this show is literally just there to antagonize Simone. So why are we supposed to care? Of course, Simone would not want to tell you guys about her cancer diagnosis because you guys have made it clear that no matter what Simone does, you guys just do not like her, period. Like, Simone definitely should have just, she shouldn't have had to clarify the meds she was using at her match. I was like, this is the final episode of the show, and you are bringing back this drug thing from season 2 that we already went over. Like, what's wrong with y'all? She can't have a decent win. At least finally, thank you to Daniel for fighting for Spencer getting his happy ending. But Simone, at the very end, you guys just let her struggle for what? She's already been through so much since she was a junior in high school, and they're like, I really don't want to write tennis, nor do I want to write Simone's relationship development with her coach, nor her teammates. And I don't want to write her being team captain. So let's just give her cancer. There was even a scene this season where Simone dreamt that she was dead. The woman is wicked. She's wicked. That's literally what she said. She was doing too well. So let's just give her cancer. We haven't seen the girl's daddy in 3 years. Her mom came back for 1 episode. We got a little sliver of Simone's childhood due to her mom coming back. They had her hide her cancer from her only family member that she has there, Amara. For what? And then on to her friend group. Oh my goodness. Why is it like anytime Simone goes left, Keisha and Nick go right? Simone goes up, Keisha and Nick go down. Where Simone goes through something, Keisha and Nate always want to play the devil's advocate. Oh, Thea's been antagonizing me. Oh, well, you are dating her. You are close with her man. So, oh, my teammates are doing this. Oh, well, maybe, are you hard on them? Maybe that's why they're acting like that towards you. Oh, me and Damon are just friends, or maybe we want to be in a relationship with each other. Oh, you guys have too much emotional entanglement. Are you sure being in a relationship is a good idea? Oh, I think I may want to be with Lando. Oh, you sure you don't want to be with Damon? Damon just came back.
Shut up, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
All the time, where Simone tries to do something, they always want to play devil's advocate. And 9 times out of 10, those people do not like Simone. And yet, Simone's supposed to be your best friend? But you're always rooting for the people that don't like her usually. But when it came to someone that actually needed to be held accountable, Cameisha, all she had to do was cry her biracial tears, and all of a sudden it's, oh, you poor baby. She's not the victim. Speaking of which, let's talk about Cameisha Chow. They did Cam so dirty. They did Cam super duper dirty. Can you imagine your rival, with Spencer James? They were building up so much of Cam's journey in season 4, like him being undecided. We knew that was because he was going to come to Brixton, only for Cam to get a brain aneurysm, not even playing his sport, playing basketball. So he lost his football scholarship because he couldn't play football. And then they mentioned him having a surgery. I don't even know if he had the surgery. I don't think so, because his aneurysm was mentioned in season 2. So they could have easily given him baseball, but they didn't even do that. They gave him music. You mean, like, it worked out, because that's how I met my sweetie pie, my princess Gabrielle. I love Gabby. I love Gabby so much. Then Cameisha, originally she was in pre-med because her dad is a doctor. And she's also an RA. That's something that had like a bit of relevance in season 1, but then they just forgot about that. Then she's also in like the fashion department too. They did mention that like a few times. But, she was having this whole fight with her dad of, oh, I want to dance. I don't want to do pre-med. I'm going to carve out my own path. You should have stuck to pre-med, because dancing is not it for you, sweetie. It isn't. Dancing has caused Cameisha to lash out at Cam and Simone so many times, and she don't even have the dance moves to back it up. Simone, that can dance better than her. Cam, he tries. Him dancing in the Masquerade episode was pretty good. Can dance better than her. But Cameisha's the one that's supposed to dance. It's sad. These characters had so much potential, and they just... Then their constant need to make Cameisha the victim, when constantly she's yelling at Cam for her dreams not coming true. Maybe, did you think the reason why you haven't gotten to any dance schools is just because you can't dance? It's just because you cannot dance. At least Cam can sing, but you cannot dance. So then this leads Cameisha to turn to JR for validation, and they've never interacted once throughout the show. But since Cameisha gave JR bone marrow on screen, all of a sudden they're supposed to be close. And they're definitely not supposed to be doing anything romantic because they share DNA, making them siblings. Right? Right? That is not the case at all. She was sneaking off, having street dance battles in the street, not telling Cam about it, but JR was there. So when, obviously, you're hiding things from Cam obviously has to go to the conclusion that she's cheating on him. And instead of Keisha being like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you." She's like, "What? It's ridiculous. How can he say it's ridiculous when all you've done was hide and lie?" What else was he supposed to think? So then when Cam and Gabby asked like JR and Keisha to put a bit of distance between them because obviously they cannot trust them, what do these two stupid, foolish, idiotic goats go and do? They cheat! Then when Cam is supposed to be the victim here, there was a take that they did where Cam actually ended up pushing JR to the ground. They should have used that. Because just shaking JR, it's like when you have a kid trying to shake their parents for some loose change and for some ice cream money. Yeah, that's what it was given. It wasn't given like, "Oh my gosh, how could you? How could you do that?" They should have kept that taken. Then here they go, trying to make Keisha seem like she's the victim. She ain't the victim. Honestly, what I was hoping for season 3 was over the time jump. I was wanting the two of them to break up, let Keisha work on herself a little bit, and probably give Keisha a girlfriend. And then I was thinking of them putting Cam and Aquila together, but obviously the writers, they don't have sense. They do not have sense one bit. But if it's one thing that made me want to side eye completely Orlando Johnson immediately is, why are you guys using Cam and Keisha specifically as a blueprint on what love is? She's done nothing but treat that boy like crap for years. Anytime things get hard with the man, like Cam's having his surgery or Cam having feelings for Keisha, she runs. She runs. So now that Keisha has cheated on Cam, all of a sudden Lando's their biggest cheerleader in the two of them getting back together. For what? For what, Buki? No, they should not be your inspiration. What is going on with you? Even though I liked his interactions with other characters, like, this is not a ship you should be rooting for. No. So then all of a sudden it took them breaking up for Keisha to finally show up for Cam. And not even show up for Cam really, but she invited one of the guys that Cam is working with for him to come see Cam perform and get him like a record deal. And it wasn't even because she was doing it because she cared about Cam. She was doing it to feel better about herself. Because if you were doing it to feel better about Cam, you wouldn't mind if Cam never knew that you were the one that helped him. But she made sure to call that girl, Luam, who was having a tour, and be like, "Oh, are you sure he came?" Like, girl, like, what's wrong with you? So you're doing it so you can feel better about yourself, not because you actually like Cam and care about Cam. Then Cam just ended like this series as like a chump, as a fool. Keisha's the one that cheated on you, and yet she still has you wrapped around her little finger. Like, I can only feel so bad for Cam because, like, this girl's been treating you like crap since you were a freshman. She cannot communicate. When things get hard, she runs, she lies, she keeps secrets, and yet you're still the one that wants to go do these things for her. You're in a fraternity, bro. You have a nice voice. You're part of the ATOs. You've got options. But yet, you want Keisha back. Why? And they were trying to use that big dance moment they had in the finale as like an undying realization that these two are meant to be. Stop it. Stop it. This is not Spolivia. Stop it. Well, they did it. They ruined the best ship in the show for nothing. They ruined Jabrielle. for nothing. I don't know which one of the writers had a specific vendetta against JR for this season, but they need to come to the front so I can slap them, because who is this? Who is this? This cannot be the same JR that was head over heels for Gabby. This cannot be the same one that looked after Cam like a big brother when it came to KEK and made sure he had a scholarship so that he could stay his whole time at Brinkston. This must be his alien twin, RJ, because that's not the Jesse Raymond Jr. that we followed. All for someone that does not even want you, that said kissing you was a mistake, and he has no shame. He has no shame at all. Again, Friendsgiving episode, Gabby didn't even know. If it wasn't for Cam being like a good homeboy, Gabby wouldn't have even known that the main reason why he was skipping out on their dates was to go watch Keisha street dance. Then, when she calls you out for emotional cheating, you're like, oh my goodness, you want me to stop being friends with Keisha because of your paranoia? Let's not forget that Cam and Gabby have been friends since season 1. Gabby was the one that pushed Cam and Keisha to get together. And then in season 2, once JR and Gabby became friends, Cam noticed that there was a vibe between the two of them, and he pushed JR and Gabby to get together. So what is he talking about? You two, on the other hand, JR and Keisha, have no sense of chemistry and have never interacted. And then all of a sudden, bone marrow is supposed to make you guys close. That's a trauma bond, babes. Yeah. And they ended up being right, because you guys ended up cheating on your partners. And then JR is gonna walk around the quad with no remorse. Lando has to remind you that you're in a relationship, and you still walk around, no tears streaming down your face, no remorse, no regret. Are you kidding me? At least when Jordan and Simone broke up, Jordan was at least sad for 2 seconds. JR did not care. You see, Gabby, when JR collapsed, sweetie, God was sending you a sign. God was trying to save you, girl. God was trying to save you. He was saying, oh, Keisha giving me her bone marrow saved my life. You wouldn't have even been able to get that bone marrow if Gabby had not gave you CPR so you could live.
You told me not to make you that girl, and Gabby, I was stupid. I let them all make it too far, and I failed you and our relationship. So, if you never want to speak to me again, I understand. The fact that you're even standing right here right now, I never thought that I'd get that moment, and that's just the reason why I keep talking. But I'm gonna shut up, because this whole time I've just been worried about what you have to say.
Because honestly, they didn't let Gabby go hard enough for me. Like, I'm so glad she slapped him, because obviously they didn't let Cam do enough. So at least I'm glad Gabby slapped him. But they didn't let Gabby do enough. She should have kept going. Like, I trusted you. I loved you. I brought you back to life. I took care of you. I vouched for you to get baseball back. And this is how you do me? I would have been petty. I would have been like, this is how you do me? Like your mama did your daddy? I guess cheating runs in the family. It was a huge bummer that we didn't get to see like Gabby break up with him on screen, but at least, you know, we got Gabby smacking him and leaving with her dignity at the very least. But I don't care. Gabby should have got her lick back. She should have got her lick back. Her and Cam should have hooked up before she went. She should have. Marcus's son Noah calls JR out for cheating, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, how dare you call me out on the thing I very much did. And then all of a sudden it's being like, yeah, you sure everything's okay with your son? Like, and then they just went on to act like Gabby did not exist after she left in episode 11. That was so nasty. Then JR made sure to not care about Cam's feelings. He did not apologize to Cam once. And then he was just gonna go off ahead and not even talk to Cam about saying that he has feelings for Keisha. I was like, at the very least, if you're going to ruin a good relationship, the best woman you ever had in your life for incest, at the very least you could do is tell Cam that you have feelings for Keisha. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh my, who said Keisha was your girl? Excuse me? Which JR is this? Started off being my favorite character. I couldn't even look that man in the face. Gabby was trying to show you some options. You were an engineering major just so you have something to fall back on in case you lost baseball, which you did. And you shunned her for it. But anyways, Gabby got her internship. She good. She off to bigger and better things, while you will be a loser bum. JR, you will be a loser bum. You did all that, and still, Keisha don't even want you. You did all that for nothing. For nothing. Shame on you. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your brother. Dishonor on your whole family. Because you really think you're gonna wreck happy relationships? Walk over people, screw over people, that you're gonna get your happy ending? No. Clap for yourself. You got what you deserved. Clap for yourself. Thea and Amara were barely in this season, but I did enjoy the screen time that they did have. And then Marcus, they continued the thing with his ex-wife. He ended up having a son. So the whole father-son thing, again, I didn't really care for it because I never really cared for Marcus. And then they wanted to do this whole thing of, oh, he may be bipolar because he ended up tearing up Marcus's house. But no, he was just a bad kid. He's just a bad kid that felt like destroying his house because, oh, you took his tablet, you took his phone. They wasted half the finale on some mental health evaluation only for the boy to not even be bipolar. Like, what was that? What was that? And then Nate had something decent going on. Most of the time we didn't see her because she was like applying to different law schools. But they had a plot with her and her cousin that didn't accept her at the beginning, which I thought was interesting. But we found out the only reason why she came to Bringston was because of an incident that happened with the student being attacked on Bringston, and she wanted to give the story like a bigger light. So they had something decent there, but they ended up not really doing anything with it. A lot of it was just like throwaway lines in the finale. So again, I just ended up not caring. Nate got in a relationship the end of season 2, but due to budget cuts, we didn't see that. We didn't see most of these series regulars or any of the recurring characters. So most of like this development closeness happened off screen. And then when we saw Ryan again, they recasted him. I was like, who is this? Who is this? This is supposed to be Ryan? So when the two of them were having turmoil, I just ended up not caring because, again, we don't see you on screen. So why am I supposed to care? And so Nate being Nate, she wants to trust her gut. And the two of them, I was like, okay, they're going to end up breaking up in the finale. And I should care. I just don't. There's no time to care because you don't see them. The finale just wasted everybody's time for nothing. Instead of focusing on Simone's match, instead of this episode focusing on Simone, they could have done like a nice time jump of Simone going pro or the premiere of her documentary that was coming out. She didn't need to she didn't need to inform anyone else on like her struggle, because again, the struggle shouldn't happen at the first in the first place. But yeah, we didn't end up seeing her match. Like, it was just a waste of time. Like, I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be worse than the Flash series finale, but at least the Flash series finale, like, you felt a sense of finality. There was nothing that gave series finale. Like, all Homecoming season finales were trash, because clearly you can tell they're open endings in case they get renewed. And again, they just end up being garbage. One thing about me, even though like I get my ship end games, I can still acknowledge when the show or season is trash. Just because I got, my Spolivia ending does not mean I'm not going to talk crap about All American season 6. Just because I got Rena doesn't mean I'm not going to talk crap about High School Musical, the musical, the series season 4. Just because West Allen, welcome Nora, doesn't mean I'm not going to talk crap about The Flash. And just because I got my Limone endgame doesn't mean I'm not going to talk crap about All American Homecoming. If something is trash, it's trash. I'm not going to let my love for a ship cloud my judgment. No, I'm just not going to do that. Lock Ketchy's pen away. Lock it away. Stop giving this woman shows, please. All the time, I see these people awarding her. You guys think just because her shows have been on for some time means the shows are good? They're not. Then, instead of ending All American at season 6, this is how they're rebooting All American, and it's probably going to end up getting canceled because nobody's watching the show for the 3 characters that are staying. I won't say I regret watching this season because there's barely anything on the CW. And I have so much time in my hands to just watch TV shows. It's literally like such a shame. You could have spent this time like developing Simone as a character, just letting her live life after all the trauma she's went through. You could have left Jabrielle alone. You could have broken Cam and Keisha up off screen. You could have given Nate something more to do with her law career. You could have given Thea either like a new love interest or like more insight to her going pro. You could have let Cam play baseball. You could have kept Amara with Zeke. You could have had more college events, college parties. You could have done sorority and fraternity life right. You could have introduced female characters that are just there to be nice to Simone and not have them be mean to Simone for no reason. You could have kept Keisha in pre-med. The only reason why the statement All American Homecoming is better might have been better is if they actually showcase college life properly. But they never did that. It was just trauma central with the all black cast. That's all it was. It was a whole bunch of nonsense. This season, aside from the Limone scenes, has no rewatch value. This show now has no rewatch value. That's crazy. Yeah, under different writers, under a different showrunner, the show would have had potential, but time and time again, they didn't even care. Literally, the only reason why they broke up JR and Gabby was because they based the script off a song that Mitchell, who plays Cam, wrote. They gave Simone cancer because she was living her life. This is the very, very final video I'm making about the All American universe, because whoever's still watching season 7, good luck for you all. Season 3 is coming on Netflix in 2 weeks. If you guys still watch this video and you're like, I want to tune in, good luck, Charlie. I'll probably make a playlist of like the times I've stayed on Kachi's neck, because I don't think I will rest until this woman is never given another show with the black lead ever again. But yeah, after this, I'm just going to be making videos on the shows I do like clear my head, like give me a break. I have a Lab Rats one coming up next. I'm gonna be talking about Superman and Lois. I'm gonna be talking about Stargirl, Outer Banks, Iwaju, Percy Jackson. All those videos are gonna come by the end of the year. So anyways, y'all, that is the end of the video. This very long video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe. And check out my last video right here. Anyways, y'all, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.